early mid game compared to what they had in game number 1.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get ahead and on the board there. I think looking to try and win out the lanes can be a winning strategy for this team. We're seeing a lot more variation out of the side of J-Team than Deep Cross. I think that's the biggest surprise for me today. But Deep Cross for themselves, a little more confident in what they have in this lock-in. They have more damage for one, so it's not going to be all on Criscata to put it out. That Gangplank is a massive takeaway. We'll see what it can do in the hands of Leaky. So far, he has not lost on the Gangplank. So, see if he can keep his record unscathed. But he is up against Driver on his most played champion of Jace.
Yep, the Jace matchup, of course, pretty good in the early phase, having that range differential. And we can see DCG, they understand the importance of this top half of the map. Hana, in both games, has gone ahead, walked all the way up to top side, thrown down a ward just to make sure that Leaky is going or won't get taken advantage of in that top side. Unfortunately, it didn't matter in game number 1, but maybe it makes more of a difference game number 2, as it will be J-Team getting early vision on where Hana will start.
Yeah, they're going to be able to spot this red buff very easily here as we get underway. A little bit of emote spam coming out of Uniboy and Nesty, having a little fun with each other. I do love the surprise Timachu. That's probably one of my favorites for the pro players.
It is pretty good. And I think when it comes to our early game pathing coming in from both of these junglers, Hana, I think he's going to look for some sort of flash gank at level 3, whether it's in the mid lane or in that top lane. If you burn the flash on a Jace or the Orianna, these solo laners just have to play a lot more respectfully against the laners of, your Ryze, who has that point click CC, and the GP who is very comfortable just scaling.
Yeah, for sure. I think Leaky should be in for a better time. This time around is mostly saving his parlay for harass onto Driver. So, he can out-sustain pretty well with the Grasp of the Undying. Driver's going to be on him to try and make the outplay. Remember, he opted into this matchup.
Good barrel.
Okay, nicely done with the barrel chain, and even manages to avoid the brunt of the damage from the Shock Blast. This is the Leaky we've come to expect here in the PCS.
Yeah, and I mean, there just hasn't been a lot of priority on this Gangplank pick, even though Gangplank has still remained very, very powerful. And I do appreciate the fact that he is now starting to gain some traction, as Driver will be able to eliminate that barrel. So now for the side of J-Team, if you're looking to be aggressive with this Lee Sin, I think it's still going to be towards this bottom side. We talked about, hey, for the side of J-Team, they played through their mid jungle and then transitioned a lot of that pressure into trying to hammer bot side. I think that will remain true because of how much CC chaining that they can have with this Xayah Nautilus combination.
We will want to keep our eyes on if Hana can actually match that pressure on the Volibear. You talked about how you can not uncommonly see this champion go for the level 3 flash gank, and it's not so much of a Hana special. As we've kind of hounded on a little bit, he's much more of a utility player. He likes to set his team up for success, but he's a little slower on the draw. So far, keeping pretty well paced with the jungle farm, but he's sitting on his own side of the map, whereas Konge is pushing forward. Under vision, though, however, so Leaky can be pretty safe here, especially as the wave comes crashing into him. Wouldn't really expect the dive to be happening right about now anyhow.
Yeah, so far it's, pretty slow and steady for minutes. Nothing too flashy coming out where we don't see Hana go for a flash play. I mean, even though a level 3 flash play is something you would want to see coming out from a Volibear, we know Hana, he likes to keep things a little bit slow here. So, am I surprised that nothing happened? No, but did I really want to see something happen? Absolutely. Whoa. But we could see something happen now. Level 4, it could be everything for Gromp.
Ask and you shall receive. Will it be the great Gromp fight of 2022? Oh, Konge wins it. Oh, man.
And
he's got some fast fingers. Yeah, he does. I love this matchup in the jungle. Even though it's a quiet early game, I love this because it's the chillest jungle we have in the league versus the jungle with absolutely no chill.
Yeah.
Kongye is very
Kongye.
aggro.
Yeah, and he likes to carry as well. We've seen sometimes he'll just grab that Gwen and be able to hard carry a game.
Or the Viego.
Yeah, and the Viego, of course, as well. Both of these teams also have put a decent amount of priority in getting the Viego pick, and surprisingly, so far, because of the lack of jungle bans, we haven't actually seen the Viego pop up.
I think it's probably going to happen in the series at some point, but for J-Team, as long as they can get their hands on Kongye's Lee Sin, it's a signature champion. I think we'll probably continue to see that top lane. You see Driver taking a little bit more damage than he was able to return fire, but no ultimates just yet. We're starting to see them come online in the mid lane, and I would like to see Nesty going a little earlier around the map. Last time, he kind of was locked in lane on this rise for longer than I think we expected. Here comes Hana on the roam. Driver's on 6. Doesn't really matter as much for the Jace. And we're going to get it here. Little slow, but Kongye is coming. Oh no, this was a bit of an oopsie as Nesty is forced to flash away here. Q's going to land. Sky Splitter, they do deny it for a second.
Actually takes it.
Kongye, oh no, the Lee Syndrome, but he's going to get out scot-free.
All right, okay, a trade of quite a bit of HP going back and forth. If Uniboy gets left here, he could be put in trouble, but we'll be able to get that wave shoved out, and the side of DCG, they don't stick around to try and reinforce that dive play. So, all in all, nice little shutdown coming in from J-Team and being able to put out that fire that could have possibly broken out up in that top side.
Yeah, the trend of late first blood seems to be destined to continue here, Nightstar. We're approaching the 7-minute mark, and not for lack of trying this time around. Nobody dies, and we'll see who is going to end up getting that edge. Dead even on the gold game, as we have had pretty even farm. Maybe a slight edge in the mid and bot for J-Team, but that's compensated by Leaky in the top off the back of that dive play. Driver does come back into lane, has himself the serrated Dirk up against the sheen of Leaky. So there's a little bit of pressure that Gangplank can put out. He's going for the bunny build as well with the Cole early on. Makes a lot of sense. He's going to want to play for scaling. A different composition for J-Team and for Deep Cross, and flipping and inverting the scaling factor this time around.
Yeah, and this time around, DCG don't need to be 100% foot on the gas pedal, right? But we're looking for a possible play here in...
Oh, okay, pulls the insect. It was an extended one. A beautiful play, and they had to work for it. But Uniboy still picks up first blood.
Man, Kongye and Enzo are like basketball players that have played with each other forever, because we saw the first time it happened, it wasn't...
That was an alley-oop.
It wasn't great, but they have found the second time, and now this is the third time they've executed on this play, and it's been really perfectly set up here from these two, from the jungle support of J-Team. Kongye, this is an angle that you don't really see because of the investment that it takes to get this kill, but he just says, hey, if we're gonna have a slow early game, you know, if DCG are going to take their time, I've got 5 minutes to wait for my flash to come back up, so I can just go for this play now. And DCG, they turn their attention on the Rift Herald, but the clap is coming.
Yeah, they're going to actually turn their attention onto Kongye. That's a very low Herald. He is going to pay with his life for attempting to take it. Driver a little cut off from the rest of the team. So, what was I just saying about Kongye having no chill? I think we just saw in 2 plays the good and the bad of that aspect.
Yeah, he would have loved to have flash for that play, but unfortunately, looking to try and steal away the Herald. Didn't have his smite up for himself, so he goes in, and unfortunately didn't have any ways to actually secure that Rift Herald. Now it's going to be trying to protect this top wave of CS for Driver. They're able to successfully do so, and things will slow down once more, but Kongye dying in that instance, not the best look, because now DCG able to get that Rift Herald and the kill. This is definitely a possibility to snowball around, and we'll see what they do with this Rift Herald. Regardless of which lane they're headed to, you can certainly guarantee that Nesty will not be far behind from Hana.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a guarantee with Deep Cross. One of the few things that's for certain. I would expect that top side. I mean, they've already gotten a lot of damage off it. Unless they want to try and max out on plates in the next couple of minutes. Maybe bot side, Hana's here. But with the Gangplank getting the first kill on Deep Cross's side, I think that's definitely a win condition. Trying to snowball him and do what Driver did last time around off the back of a Deep Cross mistake. It looks like instead of pulling the trigger, though, they are going to set up, if not for this Dragon, elsewhere on the map. And unfortunately, they can't catch Kongye. He's just a little too slippery here.
Yeah, and for the side of DCG, of course, you've hit a lot of your power spikes, right? You're level 6 on to the Volibear. You're able to dive towers. This is why this combination is really, really impressive. And that could also be why J-Team, they didn't go for the Jinx, knowing that, hey, there's so much immense dive pressure coming in. Gangplank ultimate, the Volibear ultimate turning off the tower, along with that Rise coming in with the Realm Warp. There's just no escape mechanisms for a Jinx early on in the fight. Therefore, we pivot over towards this Dia has the Feather Storm to keep yourself safe in some of these fights, and hopefully it pays off. Unfortunately, Lil V in the previous series didn't look great on the Xayah. So far, looking a lot better.
He is, but he's going to have a timing window versus Criscata, right? I mean, that 2v2 hasn't exactly gone massively in favor of the Xayah. A lot of the game has happened elsewhere, but Deep Cross, you know, once again, second game in a row that they're taking objectives on the map that haven't been answered. Herald is going to get popped. Hana does this in full vision, but here comes the push. As I said, they're going to try to max out on some plates here. Let's see if they can get it done. Criscata and Woody shepherding the minions through, but that is going to be the Feather and the Blade Caller. Here's Kongye. They just get the one proc, and there is Enzo with the hook onto Woody. Here's Kongye around the side. And they wait for the moment. They wait for the opening. But the Q goes wide.
Yeah, and ST doesn't have the teleport, so that's why they're still trying to be a little bit more aggressive. But now we're seeing the round work headed towards that top lane. Driver, he needs to get out, and you can see he understands what is about to happen. So he goes in for a quick trade and says, oh, all right, Rice just left that mid lane. I just have to book it out of here. And so really well played coming in from J-Team all across the board. We even saw for that bot lane dive set up, a Unity Boy immediately goes for the recall and immediately teleports to that bot tower.
J-Team now still fishing for an opportunity to get a
Their
skirmish. They don't really want this one. That's going to be the big pop-up in the blast cone, sends Woody flying into the pit. But it's going to be Nesty and the rest of Deep Cross that have the opportunity and have the opening. Realm Warp brings Nesty out to the back inside, and Kongye forced to flash it away. So Uniboy is the only one who dies in that situation, but Deep Cross definitely found the pincer maneuver in the jungle.
Finally found the pincer, and what a great play coming in from Woody to interrupt the blast cone. Yes, he gets sent over the wall himself, but at the same time, J-Team now under a bit of pressure. Kongye's still around though.
Yeah, he is. This would be a 3v3, but look at how low Enzo is. Criscata goes forward. Kongye kick back, and oh, what a brilliant play, Kongye! This man is absolutely on point as he chases Woody and Hana away. Oh boy, this is why you don't give him Lee Sin.
Oh my god, he just keeps finding these angles. It was that first kick onto the mid lane against Nesty that secured the kill. Now it's in this bottom lane, and now DCG, they just overforce things into this bottom lane 2 games in a row. They're trying to get resources onto this Aphelios, but it just hasn't paid off. J-Team read them like a book. As we get to see the replay, it feels like J-Team, they find a great play, and then they immediately give it back. This red buff was just really overforced there, and because Uniboy gets caught out, that is incredibly punishing for him. I mean, thankfully, he is still going to scale, but it is just a little bit too much in that instance. But they're able to, again, like,
look at this. Watch
they go,
this is
good play, bad play, and now fantastic play.
Yeah, Criscata even flashed to try and get that one. But yeah, he dies at the end of the day. The blast cone pop by Lil V. A little funky. We actually had panned away from that earlier on, but a little bit of chaos down there for sure. A We're about 15 minutes on the clock right now. Deep Cross still have the gold advantage, but let that be a lesson. You can't push too deep when Kongye is about. Will still be first brick secured by Deep Cross, though, in bot.
Yeah, but at the very least, J-Team, you can see the adaptations in draft are to give them a little bit more fighting potential in the early game and also the mid game. And this time around, they're able to at least secure the second Rift Herald. So
look at bot lane.
Yeah, even though they're able to get the second Herald, what is the cost? Remember, second Herald doesn't get you any plates because the plates are all gone. But on the flip side, Cascada gets 2 solo turret gold to himself.
Oh dear.
So that's I believe that is going to be a 1,050 gold injection straight into himself. So all of a sudden, he's got a third of an item now extra completed. So that's a full BF sword.
Yeah, that's something has gone wrong with your bat movements, I feel, if an Aphelios is free hitting your inner tower at 16 minutes. All right, so Deep Cross just understanding a little bit more on the map right now, and they do extend that gold lead to about 3,000 ahead of J-Team. They have a bit more on the late game side. You're starting to see, or you saw these mythics come in, of course, and they're pretty impactful for themselves if they want to try and go for the big plays, go for the big dives. We do have Hana being the big tanky bear. He can set this up. Rift Herald in the mid has to be a big one if they want to try and turn it into something. All 5 members of J-Team are here, and you can see it's about to be the same for Deep Cross. X-Flash Woody doesn't really go where he wanted to, and that play fizzles out.
Yeah, but now we have a 5v5 for this next dragon. Remember, before J-Team, they just couldn't walk into these early dragon fights, but now, 17 minutes into the game, only 1 dragon into the hands of DCG. J-Team, they're going to try and fight it out for the second Drake.
All right, we've had some spicy dragon fights already this series. We'll
Round
see how
warp
it goes.
into the back line.
Coming in, and they pull away from Lil V as Woody just can't quite get enough, but it doesn't matter. The front line is going to drop as they look to try and take that dragon away. They do. And J-Team running for the hills right now after they lost Driver and Enzo off the back of a Deep Cross.
Oh, this could be big. This could be poor pathing here. They could get caught out very easily.
Featherstorm Nesty, though, dodges most of the damage on it. And now Kongye, he greeds, and he will feed as he follows through. Doesn't matter the parlay, and Nesty is able to do even more to him off that overload. So Deep Cross is getting every advantage here, Nightstar.
Cross, all of a sudden, this is very different from game number 1, right? And I think part of that is because of the fact that J-Team are saying, hey, we have a composition that can fight in the early game. So now they're accepting a lot of these team fight flips, and DCG are coming out on top. So DCG, great response from them being able to catch out on to J-Team. We're headed into a pause. I don't know what it is for, but it also means that we've got some time to try and digest what's happened as we head into the replay of this fight. Again, like, this GP has been absolutely killer. As you can see, Driver, he's just taking tick after tick from this ultimate, and then you follow up with the ultimate coming in, the Moonlight Vigil, it's the Infernum, so a lot of splash damage coming out. And they essentially just died to those 2 ultimates there. And then Korea and Lil V, they're taking a very greedy path here, trying to get back into the mid lane, but they don't respect the amount of kill pressure that DCG do have. Korea tries to go a bit for a fancy play there, use the Hana as an escort, but it doesn't work, and now he's down to Flash.
Yeah, it was a very, very bizarre setup for J-Team that they just got out muscled. I think the sending Woody into the backline on the Realm Warp was actually a really brilliant plan, because even though he ended up getting deleted, it really forced so much attention in that little cluster just above the choke point, and it meant that it was like the freest cannon barrage for Leaky. So really good play planning and really good setup from Deep Cross. I think they even managed to keep Kongye away from the smite, and then that real bizarre greed for the Merc Wolves to try and get a little extra XP. I don't think they expected the follow the chase, but they really should have. So everything comes up Deep Cross in that play. And as a result, you know, we not only see the dragon going over, we see the 3 kills, another tower falls in the mid lane. So already a very different game number 2, not just because of the composition shift up and the adaptation to a more scaling comp, but really just Deep Cross playing a lot better together and using their strength, right? The coordinated moves around the map, the I don't want to say dives. I mean, it was in a sense a bit of a dive, but like using the more teleporty kind of tools and sending like just Woody in, a really great adaptation, not bringing the entire crew in. And even though they sacrifice them, they get them locked up, it doesn't really matter because they still clean up. Massive damage from the Aphelios. We are out of the pause, back into this game. Yeah, and he is well on his way to however many centuries, however many hundreds of years, Nightstar, as the Bloodthirster is completed. Yes. This buy made possible by the 2-tower push.
Yep. Very accelerated with his gold income because of that extra gold coming in from the solo towers. And he's out to a very fast 2 items, whereas everyone else is kind of stuck in that 1.5 item gap. Now Leaky, okay, I thought that if he landed the barrel chain, he would push for a little bit more there in that instance, but doesn't land the barrel chain. And now DCG 5k gold lead. We'll see what they can do with this gold lead, but again, a lot of the difference comes from the fact that J-Team, they threw a little bit more investment into the early mid game. DCG threw a little bit more towards the late game. The scaling is not that large of a gap coming in from these 2 compositions. So now DCG, with the proactivity, with the macro or more cerebral gameplay, they're able to get a bit more footing because there isn't that large of a gap.
And all DCG have to do is keep J-Team at arm's length, trying to do that right now, looking to knock down that top tier 1 at about half health. Sky Splitter finds Uniboy just on the edge, but the command attack and the shockwave is flashed away by Woody. Trade
Big
there, but it's on
cooldown.
a low enough cooldown. Yeah, I mean, they do stop the push for now, so that is definitely worth it.
Yeah, and we can see Uniboy, he's actually gone for a very interesting build path here. He's trying to go ahead, complete the... Oh, okay, Leaky could just go for this fight.
Yeah, I think he will right now. There's the knockaway, and a big old parlay. Oh, boy.
Yeah, we might see a little bit more game playing priority given how strong this champion is starting to look in this series. I mean, Driver went 5-0 on his time on gameplay, and now 3-0-2 on
Leaky says hold my beer.
gameplay.
Going for the tier 3 now. Yep. Oh, he's going to get that, I think, before Enzo shows up.
Yeah, and it's only Enzo, right? Bad. You're not really scared about the support, but with Zaya shifting,
okay. Yeah, this means they get the outer top, though. I mean, they can kind of yoink J-Team around the map, and this is something that Deep Cross are good at doing, playing on a couple different lanes, right? This 4-1 is kind of stretchy, but it's working. They have a lot of vision around the Baron Pit as well, so like J-Team can't really go for the sneak right now. Not that they're really in a position to do it, but you know, cover your bases. This is good. This is good Deep Cross. This is what we wanted to see from them in Game 1.
Yeah, and now Deep Cross are in a massive 2-item power spike here because you have the collector completed by the Gangplank. There's not a ton of armor built up on the side of J-Team, so any barrel chain landed is just going to really blow J-Team to shreds here. And then you're very close to getting that completed Zanya's Hourglass onto Hana so he can dive really far in, do a lot of damage because Sky Splitter, along with the Stormbringer having those AP ratios. And then, of course, you have the Thimble Winter already completed by the Rise. So it's just such a large 2-item power spike. But J-Team, they still want to try and contest this. I don't think it's really in their means to try and do so unless if Lil V is able to get that upgraded Muramana right here.
Yeah, Hana's going to be looking to go for some dives. Got the Seeker's Arm Guard building into Zanya's on the Volley Bear, too. Always a fun one to see something like that. Kind of reminds me of the Nocturne build we've been seeing a little bit more. Here's Woody trying to flank. This would be Dragon number 3 for Deep Cross. Woody does get caught on the long-range hook from Enzo. How much can he tank up? Because J-Team are just looking, as he tries to go in on that. But it's not going to be enough. J-Team trying to claim the spoils that is the dragon here with the 5v4 advantage.
Yeah, as Clement would say, a bit of a head-scratcher angle, but Leaky.
One barrel chain is all he needed. The flash forward, the follow through, and a big old moonlight vigil into the bear drop, and it was all hashtag calculated, it seems. Enzo running for the hills, and Hana does not care about your tower. A triple kill for Criscata, and we are on to the Baron.
Yeah, that's going to be such a free Baron take coming in from DCG. And once again, it's really tit for tat coming in. J-Team, they find a great pick onto Woody. You could say, hey, Woody going out on a limb when it came to trying to find the flank. But now it's Kongre, all up to Kongre to try and make this steal happen. I don't think it's going to happen. There's plenty of vision to find him approaching this objective, and Woody also there to just punt him away with the headbutt. So we head into the replay of that first play. Oh, actually, it's going to be the second play. It's really just Leaky holding out into the bush. And again, the Gangplank ultimate, controlling so much space, they have to fall back. Now, with how much damage has been dealt at the start, you can flash forward instead. And there's no threat onto this Philios anymore, because remember, in that first game, the Gangplank ultimate prevented him from moving forward. That's not the case this time. He's got the Gangplank on his side.
Yeah, that was absolutely dirty, even in a 4v5. And I see what you did there, by the way, Nightstar. Woody going out on a limb. I appreciate it. Wanted to shout that one out. But Baron in the hands of Deep Cross Gaming, all 5 members. And now Criscata off that triple kill buys himself an eye edge. He's got just about a half item advantage, maybe even more, because he's still got the dagger as well. Hasn't even upgraded his boots. But Criscata, he's having an absolute pop-off game on this Aphelios. It's been set right up for him. Will he get baited, though, into Kongye's waiting hands?
That's the question. But even if he does get baited, there's really no one to follow up at this point. And interestingly enough, we have... Okay, all right, this has to be a look.
Oh, okay, that's the cue, the flash, the kick into the Xayah, and Featherstorm, they're gonna get the shutdown. That was a beautiful setup, but they shall pay for it.
Yeah, they're pushing all 3 lanes.
Being taken.
Yeah, they were looking to push all 3 lanes, so even though you get that pick onto Criscata, onto a flashless AD carry, which is fantastic, great pick coming out from the side of J-Team, it's just not enough. You have Baron minions coming in. Holy moly!
Driver is, yeah, man, those parlays hurt.
That was a crit.
Yeah, holy crit. That's Collector Triforce right there on Gangplank. Yep, holy moly.
That is 20% crit chance, and by golly, he did not roll a... Is it a nat 20? Is that the disaster one?
No, that's the good one. I mean, I guess it's bad if you're driver though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that was the 20. So Infinity Edge is going to increase those chances even more. I mean, Leaky looking very good on this GP right now. Driver, he's had some good plays, but it's just not nearly enough. I mean, this Jace hasn't really had too much of an impact in this game. It's been a little unfortunate to see. The top lane's kind of shifted pretty heavily on the GP pick.
Yeah, and we have more of a gold-heavy investment coming in from this Alistar. He's gone for the Turbo Chem tank, but as a result, he's a lot more tanky than your typical support. That's why he's able to eat a couple of these shock blasts. So not only is Driver behind, but that front line's a lot burlier.
Yeah, they're going to try to keep it going here. Woody, he tags in and out, and Kongye looking for the play. Does manage to find one. Clean. Nesty could be caught. Moonlight Vigil could be dodged away, and they do drop the Gangplank ulti, but it will not stop J-Team from picking up more shutdown gold. They're still fighting this team yet.
Yeah, and J-Team able to punish the over-aggressiveness coming in from Woody, from Nesty. Remember, when it comes to the 3 champions of Hana, Nesty, Woody, they're going to be charging forward. Again, they're still very dive focused when it comes to their composition in J-Team. If it's not in these 5v5 situations, can still take full advantage of the overextension. Woody just goes way too deep. And we've seen him now, this is the second time where he's been caught out at the start, making a very curious play you know, when it comes to these primary engages, just play off the realm warp. There's no need to overextend yourself like that would.
Bit of an oopsie from Woody once again. This opens up the opportunity for J-Team to fight it out for another Infernal Dragon. Would give them even more oomph in their team fight. So Deep Cross want to keep their Drake stack going. Getting a little zoned here. You got to respect the Uniboy ultimate. There is no GP. It's not up yet. So without the possibility to get that global down, I think they have to cede pressure here.
Yes.
Hana would love to smite it, but it's taken by J-Team and Kongye. So 2 Infernals now matched for the Cloud and Hextech.
Yeah, and the double Inferno is going to help them out considerably, right? Because they are lacking a little bit damage at the moment. Kongye, though, could still get caught out. Okay, we'll be able to dodge out on the barrel chain. And, like, for DCG, it's still going to be a bit of a chess match, right? The scaling, while evened out, a lot more so in game 1 than game 1. J-Team still have the range advantage given the fact that they have the Jace, they have Orianna, they have the Xayah. So it's still, in some of these situations, hard to approach the fight if J-Team are able to get there first.
And you know, J-Team, not only have they been able to find some of these turns off mistakes from Deep Cross, but they've started to even out a little bit more on the items. I mean, Lil V now has the Serpent's Fang, so he was almost a whole item behind, but he just got 2 shutdowns in a row. That's a lot of gold bounty.
Yeah, and he's gone for the Serpent's Fang, actually, to reduce some of the shielding. I guess it would reduce the shielding coming in from Bloodthirster and also from the Thimblewinter. You get a little bit of shielding coming in from the Volibear kit as well. But for the most part, it's probably one of the cheaper lethality completions you can get at this point. And now we're coming into the Baron. DCG still hold a massive gold lead, even though it doesn't feel like that they're 8,000 gold up.
Yeah, it's kind of weird considering how the couple of fights have. Lil V, he's going to have to Featherstorm that. Another barrel chain, and he always flashes looking for the outplay. Leaky's so low. He gets away, though. What a close call. Woo. Lil V will always remember this as the day that he almost caught Leaky.
Just barely misses out. Honestly, if that was instead of the Serpent's Fang, if that was the Sorelda's Grudge, pretty sure that would have been the kill. Unfortunately, able to walk away because the slow isn't there from Sorelda's, and now DCG turning their attention over towards this Baron buff.
In full vision, though.
J-Team aren't that far away.
It's already down to half health. They do have a lot of damage on, but Kongye has the opportunity for the steal. This will be the 50-50 if they commit to it. Hana keeps this one aggroed. They do want to go, but they don't have a way to stop Kongye. Woody does get caught in for a while, and now they move around the side. The reset comes in. Kongye is actually going to take that Q to keep it aggro, but the wraparound comes through, and we're going to have to play some yakety sax here, Nightstar. That was a weird turn of events.
Yeah, but still full HP onto Enzo, so they can look to start making their way back towards the Baron Pit, and it will be DCG to call off the play because J-Team, the one person that did take a lot of damage was Driver, who still has the teleport available to him, so he can go ahead, recall, and if DCG went back towards the Baron, he'd be able to get back to the play. So it will be DCG falling off of it, and now, Leaky, while he is very strong, because he's gone for the stopwatch for that one fight potential, he doesn't have 60% crit to actually proc the IE passive. So while this is still a great spike because you get crit, you get a lot of AD, he isn't able to get that extra oomph from the Infinity Edge because he's still sat on his Corrupting Potion and the stopwatch.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough right now if they want to try and take this fight again. J-Team, you know, they have the tools to work with, right? And with Leaky's teleport expended on that play, as you were saying, he had it before, but he's kind of pulled that trigger now. And it does buy J-Team a bit of time. You talked about how this didn't feel like a 7,000 gold lead. And it still doesn't, because it kind of comes down to these coin flips. Deep Cross, they seem to be kind of, I don't want to say panicking, but making a few questionable decisions. They're not covering the back of this pit once again.
there's not a lot of damage here. So even though they don't take a lot of damage coming in from the two tank members on DCG, they aren't able to really burst it down because Cascada isn't there. But now they really just pull J-Team away from the dragon. Really, that's what that play is going to do, and that's allowed them to actually get first access to this bottom half of the map. But remember, it's not Soul, so J-Team, they could try and force just an objective trade here.
And that would be huge for J-Team. They actually clear away the vision.
They're actually
this is going to force Deep Cross. Oh, they are going to, but they're going to leave Leaky on the dragon. They're going to try to have their cake and eat it too. This isn't gone just yet. J-Team, I think their bluff got called as the dragon gets secured. That is going to be soul point now for Deep Cross. 9,000, 8.5.
Still has it leashed.
All right. Not the safest in, but they do have a chance to take the play. Cascada moving around the back of the
Woody's
pit.
coming in a long con.
Oh boy, who's going to get this one? As they look to try and set the play up, Woody with the long wrap around on the cow. They see almost everybody.
Oh, now
their eyes are blind to the cow right now as the big Gangplank ultimate comes in. Headbutt Pulve, and do they have the damage to get the kills? Ponye zoned away as the rest of the team collapse onto Enzo. That's going to be the follow through. Cascada, he is just staying alive as the team tags their way in. Uniboy nowhere to go, and Lil V, it doesn't matter. Oh wait, it almost did. As he tried to get the big Featherstorm on, gets a few kills for his team.
That's just game.
A Deep Cross with the ace. They're gonna end this one night star.
Oh my god, Lil V manages to forget to press his R key, doesn't get the Featherstorm off, and as a result, just gets pummeled, doesn't do a lot of damage, forced to flash away from the situation, and DCG close out game number 2 after, I don't know, this is probably the longest game it's taken to close out with a 10k gold lead.
Yeah, that game had no right being as close as it was, but man, Deep Cross, they called the bluff on the dragon and the Baron bait. They take the fight. That Gangplank ultimate proves to be so pivotal again, and you're right, without the Xayah getting into the Featherstorm early enough, it just meant that J-Team couldn't fight it out. So the series evens up at 1-1 in a very bizarre manner.
What a wild game. Still, J-Team look a lot better than what they showcased in that Beyond Gaming series. So I have a lot more hopes for them, but I feel like the draft adaptations that they made in game number 2 really fell short. Because if you look at some of these fights, if that was an Ornn, if that was a Scion, if that was a Malphite, then even though the Gangplank ultimate drops onto your backline, you have the space opener offered by those ultimates to then split the fight and allow you to reset. However, because we did see the Jace,